What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I talk about cameras, photography, and all that good stuff. So let me preface this video with I am not a filmmaker. I'm a photographer, gear hoarder, and I'm a YouTuber. I love making videos. I've been making videos on the internet for 10-ish years now, but I am not somebody who is making short films out there winning awards. The Zeapon Micro 2 Plus is definitely built for filmmakers. There are certain features that make things very easy. It's smaller in size, so you can go from shoot to shoot, and it doesn't necessarily break the bank. At the same time though, this slider was kind of built for people like me. I'm a YouTuber. I've always wanted to up my production quality without spending thousands of dollars, and it's easy to use. I may or may have not used an oven mitt sliding my camera back and forth for different shots in YouTube videos. If you didn't know that, yes, my secret has been an oven mitt. Now I must say, this is mostly a positive review. I really love this device and what it's enabled me to start doing. But at the same time, and there is always a but, there are a couple downsides, and one which I don't think is Zeapon's fault per se, but we'll get into that later. Okay, so let's start off with price. It is $445 for the slider with the motor. I recommend getting that because when you get it with the motor, it also comes with the manual belt, so you can use it in the motorized version or you can use it just pushing it with your hand. It seems there are a couple different ways to buy the slider, the motor separately, the manual belt separately, and things like that. I will put on the side right here what the different pricing options are, but in my opinion, the more bang for your buck is to get the motorized version, and then you can switch to the manual version if you want. But of course, if you don't need the motor, then don't buy it. And then speaking of price, there is one thing that is not included in the box, which a lot of people in their reviews feel like it should have been included, but it's understandable that it's not, and that is batteries. This is the Sony F550 battery. I just so happen to have two of these laying around from lights I used to use way back in the day, and they fit on the slider perfectly. Sony has two other levels of the battery that are just going to increase your battery life. I think it's the 750 and 970. They're bigger and bulkier, but the battery life on this thing is incredible. With the 550, it is 4 hours, I believe, which is more than enough for somebody like me. And then as you go up, I think it's like 7 hours and then 14 hours. So battery life is incredible with this slider. PurGear does have a $500 bundle, which comes with the battery. I think it even comes with a tripod mount. I will link that down in the description below. And bringing up PurGear, that is who sent me this slider for free to review, so full disclosure to you guys. But as you guys know, no brand or anything tells me what to say in a video, and they don't review the video before I post it. So PurGear, hopefully you like the video. All right, so now let's get into what the Micro 2 Plus does better than the Micro 2, because Zeapon sells a bunch of sliders, and the Micro 2 is quite popular, but the Micro 2 Plus just does a couple things a lot better in my opinion, and I'm super happy that I'm starting out with the Micro 2 Plus. But just in case you're thinking about upgrading, here's what's new. So the Micro 2 Plus has a new built-in base plate. Before, that was something that was sold separately. You know, like a lot of slider companies out there, you have to buy different things to make it do what you want to do in the end. But now the Micro 2 Plus has things built in. It has little risable feet that you can just unscrew a little bit and give your base a little bit of extra lift. And then on the bottom, the center of the mount is a 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch tripod mounts. You can also get little fillers in there so you can change the size if you want. The new built-in base plate is awesome. It's super high quality, and then the risable feet is just a nice touch, because if you put a tripod mount underneath of it, or a quick release tripod mount, it will rise above that and it won't hit the table when you put it down flat. The center mount of the slider is actually more streamlined rather than like a rounded shape. It is flat and square. They moved the lock of the slider to the end, and they also made it where the lock of the slider can engage at any point, so you don't have to move the head to the center of the slider and then lock it. You can lock it anywhere you want. A small but big thing is there's now a lock where you put your battery. I've used other devices that didn't have a lock for these Sony batteries, and they fly everywhere. So I saw in a lot of reviewers' videos that they were talking about with the Micro 2, they needed a lock for the battery. And sure enough, they listened, they put a lock for the battery mount, so now your battery doesn't go flying places. One of the biggest changes from the Micro 2 to the Micro 2 Plus is that the Plus version has a toolless design where you can either put on the manual belt or you can put on the motor, no screwdrivers required. I think this is great. Thumb screws are sent from heaven. Whoever invented them, thank you. But basically, the motor has 2 thumb screws on the side, and then the belt design is really cool. It has a little magnet on one end that clips into these kind of ridges where the magnet is, so then you can't pull it out. And all you need to do is just push it forward to pop it out. So it's a great, simple design on the one side, and then the other side is a thumb screw. Again, great design. You just push the pin in, turn the thumb screw, and you're good to go. If you wanted to, in a pinch, you could probably change from motor to manual in a minute, 2 minutes tops, and it's awesome. You're good to go. So those are some of the differences between the Micro 2 and the Micro 2 Plus. So in general, what does this thing do? Well, it does a lot. So you can obviously use this as a manual push slider. So you can push or you can pull your camera and you will get super smooth footage. In my opinion, it's not quite as smooth as if the motor is just going, but I'll show a clip on the screen for you guys for me pushing the slider with just my hand, and then on the other side, I'll show with the motor, camera in the same spot. You guys be the judge which one is smoother. Now, something that I really, really love about this slider is its compact size. So I'll put on the screen here the dimensions. Without the motor, it's 13.6 inches in length. And then the travel distance, so actually where the camera can start and finish in its run, is 22 inches. And then with the motor, obviously the physical length of the slider is a little bit longer at 16.9 inches. And then the travel distance is actually a little bit shorter at 21.25, 21 and a quarter inches. And as you guys can pretty much see in example footage and things like that, the slider extends itself. So it is like a rail system. So it's not fixated to just how long the rail is. It moves with this, belt-driven system. So it's really cool. It's a way to save some space rather than having this super long slider and not being able to, say, fit it in a backpack, for example. You get a little nifty bag. I do wish maybe it came with a carrying case, but that is a tiny nitpick. But either way, with the motor on, it can fit in a normal Herschel backpack like I have here, and you're off to the races. I do not advise to race with a backpack on, let alone a slider with you. That wouldn't be good. The payload of laying, say, flat on a desk that's stable is 8 kilograms or 17.6 pounds, which is insane. That's a lot of gear on this tiny little slider. And then get this, if you go vertical or diagonal or at different angles, it's 9.9 pounds or 4.5 kilograms. Now, I must say, I was kind of shocked that this thing can go all these different directions. I don't know why, but for some reason, when I was thinking about a slider, I was just thinking of like a horizontal plane. Oh, no, not this thing. Or, a couple sliders from Zeapon do this and other companies, but to me, it's something new. So I just thought it was really cool. What I was impressed with, though, is that this slider has 0 issues going up or down. I even at one point had it kind of upside down where I had the motor on the bottom, and it still had no problem pushing my camera up. The motor never struggles or anything like that, and I have 0 doubts that a full frame camera with full frame lenses would have no problem at all. Okay, now moving on to probably one of my favorite things about this thing is that it has 3 buttons, just 3 buttons, which I thought would be a downside at first, and some reviewers out there think that is a downside, but I think it is so awesome that 3 buttons. I can do a bunch of different things with this thing. I don't need to be connected to an app or a computer or software or anything like that. There is an app, and we'll get to that, wink, wink, but I must say, having just 3 buttons and being able to use this thing so easily, just right out of the box. I looked at the manual for like 1 minute and I had it down and I was off, doing a bunch of different shots and things like that. That is the essence of a great product, is to be able to take it out of the box, look at the manual, or just look at like an infographic for 2 seconds and be able to use it. Obviously, some things are more complicated than others, and that doesn't mean that the product is bad per se, but I just think the Micro 2 Plus does such a good job at being so simple to use. So out of the whopping 3 buttons, there is an arrow button to go left, an arrow button to go right, or up or down, whichever way your slider is facing, and then a power button. So first, if you want to go a certain direction, all you have to do is hold down the arrow button and it'll slide, and you can keep your finger on there if you want to. If you want the slider to do it on its own, you just double tap the direction and the camera and the slider will go all the way to the end of that direction. If you want to say cancel that movement while it's happening, all you have to do is just double tap the direction again. There are 3 speeds on this. Obviously there is slow, medium, and fast. And to change the speeds, all you have to do is press the power button once. So press it once, you'll go up to speed 2, press it again, you'll go up to speed 3, press it again, you'll go down to speed 1. Oh, also, if you long hold the power button, it turns on. Something that's really cool the slider can do is it can set a point A and a point B. And again, it's really cool that you can do this through the buttons and you don't need to use an app or software or anything like that. To do this, say you want to move all the way to the left and set the point A, so you would move all the way to the left and then you would double tap the power button and get a beep, and that is your first waypoint. If you wanted to move all the way to the right, you'd move the slider all the way to the right, and to set that as point B, you simply double tap the power button. Then, if you want to see your slider go from point B to point A, all you have to do is double tap the power button and your slider will perform that action. Then, if you want to loop between your waypoints, all you have to do is hit the power button and an arrow button at the same time. Then it'll loop between points A and B. All is well in the world, and it's kind of like a setup that you would maybe do for an interview or something like that. Set it on the slowest setting, maybe the waypoints on either side of the slider's travel distance, and then there you go. You have a cool kind of in and out camera angle for, say, your B cam or something like that to add a little bit of production value to your interview. Or if you're like me, filming yourself like I was in the beginning clips, I used this feature so I could kind of gauge the scene, and then I could go sit while the camera was recording, performing the action multiple times, and then I would get the shots that I needed. And then last but not least, to cancel your waypoints, to kind of get back to moving the slider freely, you hit both arrow buttons at the same time. It gives you a beep, and then you're back to being able to move it around freely. I can't say enough how much I like this kind of little button system. I did see other reviewers point out that maybe they should put some more buttons on there, which would make sense if there's more features or different things that you want to specifically set rather than remembering like button combinations. I could definitely see that as maybe an improvement, but in my opinion, it would be a minor improvement. Now, on to the mobile app, which unfortunately I did not get to test out. It's called Zeapon Lab. They did come out with it on Android as well as iOS. I have an iOS device, I have an iPhone, and it just doesn't work on my iPhone. I know they recently updated the app, and I sent them a video of what's happening. Basically, what's happening is that my phone is not connecting to the slider. I think the slider is always in discovery mode, Bluetooth pairing mode possibly, and my phone just can't see it. I'm not sure what's going on. I've updated my phone. I even updated the slider's firmware twice just in case I did it wrong the first time, but it is a super simple process, which is also a good thing about this slider. But the app looks great. I've seen a bunch of other reviewers, other YouTubers use it, and I'm like, hey, I want to use that, but for some reason, I think it may be either my device or maybe my slider. Either one, it seems like a rare occurrence. Everybody else likes the app and what you can control in there, which also brings me to the next thing, which is time lapses. I wish I could use the app to test out some time lapses. I would love to do some astrophotography time lapses and things like that with it. So I won't fault them too much because it seems like hopefully I'm an isolated incident here. I mean, if you're having problems with the app or something like that, let me know down in the comments, but it seems like everybody else is having a great old time in the app and I'm not. So I'm gonna wait to see what Zeapon and Pergear have in mind, what I can do to fix this problem, and maybe I will post an update in the comments down below when hopefully I get that sorted out. All right, I think that may be it for this video. I feel like I've been going on and on about this thing, but I really do love this product. I love how well made it is, and I love how easy it is to use, and I think the price is just right for all of the things that it does so well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the little skit or whatever you want to call it in the beginning. Let me know if you guys dug that or not, and let me know in the comments what you think of the slider. Thank you guys so much for coming by and watching this video. As always, guys, I will see you in the next episode. Later.